Every time I see them, I keep going through the reels, and they're just so interesting. So
People
when I
are-
saw your ad, I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. So
People are interesting.
yeah, definitely, 100%.
So Molly, where are you from?
Fresno, California.
Fresno. And tell me
Yeah.
about how you grew up.
I had a pretty hard childhood. It was a single mom with my stepdad eventually when I was like 4. But he passed away when I was 12, and that really rocked my relationship with my mom. And so I had to kind of turn my independence completely alone and figure out life. And then that got me into some bad friendships, and I got into a pretty bad relationship right after high school. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to get myself out of it, and I got a job. And the second day was the day I had my car accident. And so me trying to leave an abusive relationship kind of caused a turmoil in my life. But now that everything happened, I'm not with that person anymore. And
So second day of a new job.
yeah, literally. And I fell asleep on my way to work. So it...
Was it a new schedule for you or something like that?
I've never done mornings, but I also was 20 years old. So I was like really new in general, and I didn't know I fell asleep behind the wheel. So that was just like completely random, I guess, freak accident. And then...
Tell me about the accident.
Okay, so I was going to work at a call center, and I worked there previous a few years ago, and so I thought it'd be an easy opportunity to kind of get out of that relationship and build myself again. But I think 4 miles from my house, I fell asleep, and I was going 75, and I hit a fence. And I remember waking up while I was going through the windshield, and I think I flew a football field, landed on my feet. My femur shattered my hips and pelvis. And since I didn't have a seatbelt on, that's why I went through the windshield. But if I was inside, the truck smashed from the top to where the window goes in. So that was one good thing of me flying through the windshield.
If you had your seatbelt on, you might have...
100% my head would have been smashed in.
Oh, my God.
And so then the truck rolled, landed on top of me, and it pinned me on my stomach. The frame of it went through my spine, and it basically like eviscerated me. And thankfully...
How fast were you driving? 70?
75.
75.
Yeah, and it was like a country road, so a lot of people kind of drive that fast, but I was really tired, I guess. But it was very close to my house, so...
But did you hit something that made you fly so far?
Yeah, so I hit a fence, and the fence acted as a ramp, and I literally crashed into the one house within like miles, and someone saw my crash on their camera, and they came out, they jacked the truck up, called the ambulance, and I'm assuming they cut off the part that was in my back, rushed me to the hospital, and the first surgery I had was an exploratory laparotomy, which is pretty much just checking your insides, making everything's good. But I lost so much blood that they didn't actually put me under, so I just got, I think, ketamine or something. And so I remember feeling them literally slice open my stomach, start pulling my guts out, and I think at that point I passed away. And I remember seeing the light and my dad, and he told me, like, turn around, and I came back, but...
So your dad, who has passed away?
Yeah, he passed away. Well, my stepdad was the guy that raised me, and my actual father, he's still around. We have a good relationship now, but
Oh, I see.
It was 12 years ago, or 13 actually. And so I think when I actually came out of my coma, because they had me in a medicated coma, my accident was December 11th, 2018, and I think I came to like December 21st or 22nd, and I remember my hands were handcuffed to the bed. I had a line coming on my arm with 6 tubes, one up my nose, one down my throat, and like I had a stroke, so I couldn't move anything but this arm, and that was still not being able to move. So
the damage was to your spine as well as what else?
So I broke my spine in 3 places, including like the base of my neck. I had half of my intestines taken out. 6 brain injuries, including a stroke, aneurysm, meningitis, E. coli in my blood and my brain, a few deficits, and then like a lot of internal damage that was fixed over time, like my kidney was enlarged, my lung collapsed. But most of the issues that I'm dealing with now have to do with like my hip and my spine and stuff like that. So it's just been really difficult because I thought that when I came out of my coma and I had all these people in my hospital room that they were all actually going to be in my corner. And the second I left the hospital, nobody was in my corner except for my grandma. And so that was a big reality check for me, that even though I went through something so traumatic, even though I went through something so traumatic, my family is always going to be toxic, and that's how they're going to support me in their own ways, you know? And so that was really hard. I thought, you know, something bad happens to me, all my family's going to, like, come to my rescue kind of thing. And it kind of felt more like the people that came and didn't keep checking on me were the ones that just wanted to make sure that they felt not guilty for not seeing me or whatever. They could post something on Facebook. So that's been really hard because I feel like you need a village to raise a child, and the same thing for someone that's disabled. So even though I look normal, I don't feel that way, and the only people I wanted to know that and support me in that kind of idea was my family and my friends. And this accident has shown me that it is really hard to find people that are actually willing to support every deep, dark part of you if there's, you know, serious stuff going on with you.
This was how many years ago?
It was 5 in December.
And are you still recovering?
Yeah, actually, I need a hip surgery coming up. I'm not sure when it's scheduled, but they said I have osteoarthritis, and the inflammation is calcifying. So I either need a new hip or they just have to go in and kind of take the bone spurs out. But
How old are you now?
25.
25.
Yeah, and I also am having a lot of issue in my lower back, and my family wasn't really involved in my medical issues, so whatever I was able to grasp coming out of the hospital, that's all I kind of knew.
Because looking at you, you look perfectly fine.
Right. Except for when I wear a bikini, I got lots of battle scars. But, yeah. And since I have a fused part of my lower spine that I didn't know about, all the pain that I've been, because I'm not supposed to be in this much pain for like 5 years after the surgery, so it could be an issue with my hardware, which is like some of the negligence that I got from my family and friends that didn't support me, you know, because I think I've done very well for being independent, but the amount of things on a daily basis that I can't do on my own, or I struggle to do, or I spend like a lot of energy and time just to do a simple task is very hard.
Were you in a wheelchair for a while?
Yeah. And I still use it, like if I'm going to the grocery store or the mall, or like anything that's like longer than 5 minutes, because I've just, my back's gotten progressively worse, and I never understood why, and now I saw that x-ray like a month ago, and now I found out that there's hardware, so hopefully when I get my hip checked out, they can also check my back out, because it's the same
You
kind of
probably
doctor.
get a lot more sympathy and help when you're
Yeah, I'm hoping, and like that's also
in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's literally, whenever I'm in a wheelchair, people are always like super fast to open the door or to help me or to like pay the extra 10 cents at the grocery store or whatever. But if I'm just walking around and whatnot, people get mad at me for walking too slow or getting confused at the card thing at the cashier, because that happens to me a lot because my brain injuries, the stroke I had was in my cerebellum, and that is the balance center, but it also controls your emotional regulation. So having trauma from a very young age and then having such a traumatic thing happen at 20 with the stroke has been very difficult, and that's something that my family hasn't been able to grasp either. And I think that's just solely because they don't do any research when it comes to like anything that's wrong with me. So they don't know what to expect or like what is normal and what's not. So I've had to educate a lot of my family, and that I don't have a problem with, but a lot of them still don't take it as me being disabled. They just take it as me being rude or lazy or dismissive or whatever. So,
What's been the hardest part of recovering? Are you working, or are you doing anything?
I'm not working at the moment because I just got an SSI, and they told us that if I work for every $2 I make, they'll take $1 away, and I do not. I wouldn't even work part-time before they took my check away, and then I wouldn't qualify. So in my last job, they laid me off, which I should have kind of fought this, but I had a seizure at work, and they just kind of told me to go. So that's, honestly, for me, I think the hardest part is I look normal, and every morning my body and my brain have to like remember that I'm disabled all over again, so it kind of feels like a brick wall every day. And just accepting that I'm disabled now, because for 20 years I was able to just run around and had all this energy and I could do whatever I wanted, and then all of a sudden my life kind of fell to shambles.
How do you speak to yourself about what happened to you? Do you feel like you screwed up and you're paying the price for this one mistake, or do you feel lucky to be alive?
I feel lucky to be alive because there was nothing that I did wrong that morning. I was not drinking. I wasn't super tired. I went to bed early that day before, so it was just a freak accident. And I genuinely, honestly, it's given me the opportunity to realize that I am worth living for, and I don't have to live my life for everybody else, because at a young age I was taught that the only way to survive is to cater to everybody else's needs. And then it got so deep-rooted in me that I was in abusive relationships, and I just didn't know what I wanted for myself. And now the accident, unfortunately, has given me that reality check that I need to live for me if I want to be happy, and I want to be healthy in the ways that I need to, not for everybody else. So.
And your family is still somewhat helpful, or no?
The only one that is really helpful is my grandma. I still live with her. Anytime I need anything, she is right there. I call her my mom, my dad, and my grandma. We've had some bickering and stuff like that because we live together, but she's the best, honestly. And she's never given up on me. Anytime I need anything physical, financial, emotional, that's who I go to. And anybody else that I've tried to kind of reach out to hasn't been able to give me that. So I am really lucky that I at least have my grandma.
What are your goals from here on out?
I think, because before I really wanted to be a mom and a wife and have a house and all that stuff, and now I don't know if I want to have any of those things. I just want to tell my story, inspire people, maybe write a book.
What is the main message that you'd like to convey?
Probably I really want to go into something about invisible disabilities and my experience within that, and how my accident kind of plays into that, because I have only been thinking about that for probably about a year. But yeah, it's something to do with that, or just in general about my story, because I'm not really sure. I feel like a lot of my confidence was taken down a few years after my accident, and now I'm finally rebuilding back who I am as a person and what I want. So I'm not 100% sure, but definitely something to do with my experience and what I've wished I had after my accident, and hopefully moving towards making that possible for other people.
All right. Molly, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
Wish you lots of luck.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.